get you.
Amaretto liquor for women who accidentally walk into gay bars.
These 2 minutes would like to issue a correction. In an earlier story, I referred to hot dogs as containing cows' anuses. That should have been cows' ani. We regret the error.
And now let's take a coffee and donut break with our own Connie Bloor.
If only their backsides were as narrow as their minds, eh? Or even if their brains were as broad as their bums. Well, you wouldn't mind so much that Yanks jackbooting all over the planet, having to make all the movies, eh? And publish all the magazines. Being Global Cop, backed up by that $271 billion a year war machine, eh? Oh, yeah, always standing at attention. Always ready to carpet bomb and obliterate no nation too small or too impoverished, or, for that matter, too close or too neighborly, eh? Oh, those wacky madcap Yanks. They're up there now, eh? Flying around their high-tech fighter jets. Probably watching us on those three-dimensional maps of every part of the Earth they got in the cockpit. And they got bombs, too, eh? Bombs with TV cameras in the noses so they can specifically target something as small as, say, a Joe Horton's donut shop, or even a Joe Horton's donut. And those bombs are being dropped by Americans, eh? The very same Americans who 60% of them can't even locate their home state on a map of America, and who pretty well universally believe that Joan of Arc is Noah's daughter. Oh, be afraid, eh? Be very afraid. And we're out there trying to get on their nerves, eh? I mean, they're already pretty cranky and kind of tired and busy. I mean, what with being a superpower and impeaching the president, and they're probably pretty spent, too, from spending all that time having to penetrate deeper and deeper into the dirty details of just what exactly went down in that oral office, eh? Hearing the story over and over and over and over again until it comes to its inevitable sticky end. Not to mention the sheer inconvenience of having to re-bomb Iraq. Oh, yeah. We beat them in a war one time, eh? Back in 1812, that was so long ago, Laura Secord was just a human being, eh? Laura Secord. She managed to warn the brave Canadian troops, eh? And then they reduced the invading American forces to ignominious defeat at Beaver Dams. That Laura Secord, eh? Sweet enough to eat, but with a nice hard center. Everything you'd long for in a Canadian heroine. I'm more like a donut, really, than a chocolate. Connie Bloor's fine donuts right across this country.
Here we are on location at NAPTI. Now this is where all the big TV companies come and they basically sell their TV shows and give away lots of food. If you look over here, you see a company called Plaster TV, and they got a full bar there, and the food is all free.
You're watching Jean Chrétien on Bumbling Through What?
Jean Chrétien, who is the mayor of Burlington, Ontario, is a big fan of Baywatch, and in fact has declared Baywatch Days again this year.
Thank you, Jean Chrétien, for declaring Baywatch Days.
You're watching Jean
Chrétien.
Yeah.
So your show is called A Perfect 10?
We have a game show that's called Perfect 10. We also have a magazine and a video.
So you're a 10?
A 10.
What are you in metric?
You're watching Jean Chrétien on Channel 22. Bumbling through my feet. No, it's not.
Jean Chrétien's Bumbling Adventures.
Well, it's your name.
The mayor of Burlington in Canada, Jean Chrétien, has declared Springer Days.
Thank you, Jean Chrétien, for declaring Springer Days this summer, and maybe you'll declare Summer Days this spring. It's great to talk to you.
Okay, thanks very much. You do a great show. We're big fans in Canada. Thank you. Look at this boot. Percy Werner's boot, just on the floor. We'll just take a look at it. Just look at the size of it. It's 2 stories. It shows lovely. It's got a balcony up there. It's got a balcony up there. Look at this. This is all a boot. This is look. Little boardrooms there where I guess they would buy and sell their TV shows. I'd like a Heineken. It'd be great. Could the cameraman have a beer too? Pete? What do you think of Jean Chrétien?
Hey.
All the Canadian producers of television and movies and stuff, they're all in this little tent city here, and each one has an identical little blue hut. You see that? So it's Canadian and kind of looks like public housing in the north or something. Hi, could I get a moose head, please?
Pardon?
Could I get a moose head, please?
Yes, I will see if is it.
I think she's going to see if there's a program called Moosehead.
Britain's Parliament has approved a law lowering the age of consent for gay sex from 18 down to 16. In a completely unrelated story, the average age of a parliamentary page in Britain is 16. A startling new scientific theory suggests that the universe never actually began and therefore can never actually end, much like the CBC series Riverdale.
In a recent interview, former Prime Minister Kim Campbell admitted that she never shies away from her lusty side and that she's now dating a man 20 years her junior who affectionately calls her the Queen of Smut. Well, I know, Kimmy, that I speak for all Canadians when I say, gee, we're so glad you finally found something you're good at. Hi, I'm Marg Delahunty, and you've got to be sporting a clothespin on your nose here lately, just to avoid choking on that rank, sweet stench of corruption that's rising up off everything. Oh, we are slouching into the 3rd millennium with all the morals of an arms merchant and all the virtue of a crack whore. What about those drug money thieving customs officials in Pearson's airport and the Superior Court judge in Quebec found guilty of laundering 1.7 million spondulics in dirty money, of course? The only reason that judge didn't get off was because he didn't have Scales of Justice star and Gemini Award-winning, I'm not really a lawyer, but I do play one on TV, lawyer to the scumbags Eddie Greenspan. And then, of course, there's the Capo-D, Tutti-Capi of slime bags, that lovable old straight-arm saluting, Franco-loving fascist head of the International Olympic Committee, Juan Samaranch. You know, my only regret is there are just not enough old fascists left alive to head up all the international committees that need corrupting. Oh, the once noble Olympic Games defiled by a corrupt crowd of farty old freeloaders. The noble Olympics. Sure, they sold out years ago, my dear, to Coca-Cola. Sure, it's nothing now but a bunch of drugged-up greedheads hauling themselves mindlessly around some old track, chasing any $1-million endorsement they can get their gluttonous paws on. Oh, everyone involved in that seething sea of writhing rot deserves a good slap up the side of the head. Of course, how can you blame them? Here in the New World Order, where Miller Brewing is the official sponsor of the 3rd millennium and where we pretty well sold our children's hospitals lock, stock, and barrel to McDonald's Corp, and the Nike swoosh Tika is everywhere the predominant symbol of the age. Oh, yes, nowadays, ethical is just the name of another mutual fund company. And trust is a place where the rich hide their blood monies so it won't be taxed. We're all just commodities nowadays. Everyone can be bought and sold. And it's only a matter of just setting the price. Oh, yes, my dear. And there's a lot more advertising space where that came from. 'Cause I'm just packing on the bounds.